Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Hurrdat Media Network.
All right.
It's Pat and JT.
And
Twitter,
Rhianna.
Instagram, and Facebook.
Hey.
And Rhianna. That's our new show. It's Pat and JT and Rhianna on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I just invited myself.
Yep.
No, I will totally do that.
Yep.
All right. So you got anything that you need to get to in text messages?
No, I mean, I don't,
You didn't even chat.
Well,
That's how you are.
It's been
holiday season and things just go crazy.
Right.
Everything goes out the window, all the regular routines.
Once you get into the swing of things, you start forgetting stuff. You start forgetting your patterns.
It's hard. We were talking about this before. When you get to this time of year, it's hard to. You don't want to start something new because the interruptions in your regular routine. So you can't have something that is a new routine that you're just trying to get started. It's really hard if you do, and you're almost like setting yourself up for disappointment.
Well, this is the season for endings anyway. It's the season of hibernation and going internal and not being so busy and doing all the things.
So we're fighting
right?
against nature when we try to do that.
100%. Yeah. So starting a new
diet. All of a sudden you're like, nope, I'm going to stick to my diet that I started at the end of November, and by God, I'm not going to, and you're just like fighting Mother Nature.
A diet right now is a terrible time anyway.
Terrible,
but nature-wise too, it's like a time to really rest and restore and not start new things.
Interesting.
That would be February, more first quarter, second quarter stuff. So
rest and restore.
Yes.
That's why the bears go sleep.
Yes, and
right?
I think we I don't know if we do that on purpose. You know what I mean? We go against our natural.
We feel like we have to. It's like what we're being told by marketing. It's like what we're being. I mean, everybody wants to be, have them. I don't know. It's just like nobody wants to just sit down and say, you know what? I'm just going to take care of me right now.
No, there's a lot of people that want that though.
They
really do, but they're afraid to not meet expectations. They're afraid to disappoint people. Like I just had a client the other day that came in and she's like, Rhianna, all my friends were talking about doing a friends giving and a friends gift exchange, and they were adding all this stuff onto our pile already.
Yes.
And I really don't want to do it. And I was like, well, then tell them, because in that group of people, there's a couple of you that really don't want that extra thing on your plate. And somebody just has to have the courage to say, listen, I love that idea, but I don't think I can fully show up for that right now.
I have huge respect for people that just say no because it's not right for them. My wife was in a bachelorette. I went to a bachelorette party this past weekend, and I don't know how many girls were, like 10 or 12, but there was a girl that was invited that's just like, I'm just not feeling it. I just don't. And she was like a super close to the bride and all this stuff. She's like, I'm just not in. You guys have fun. Let me know how it goes. Like there was no, because I got to go to camp. Yeah. It was just all like, it wasn't feeling it.
I really like when people just say yes or no.
Well,
I hate hearing excuses and reasons and I feel like they're trying to validate themselves.
That is a trauma response, and they feel like they have to explain or validate because then society is going to judge the crap out of them, right? So if more people had the courage to just say, I'm sorry, I don't have that in me right now. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty good about that.
Yeah.
But when somebody does that to me, I'm like, okay, why? Like I want more.
He's the problem.
I'm
right there.
Right.
It's
like
not Pat's fault. And then we hear that you want to say, none ya.
Right. Well, like if I'm like, hey, Rhianna, let's go grab lunch today, like at 11 o'clock. Can you just go? No.
I can't. That's it. Just no, I can't.
Right. And I'd be like, oh,
okay. Remember that we were talking to Dana about this same thing though, because she's another one that if you have to change your appointment, if you can't show up for something, she sees it as an opportunity, and I know that's where you're going to. It's like, look at that as an opportunity to go fill that time with something else. If somebody cancels on you, don't take it personal. It's like that's an opportunity.
I know for me, it's so when somebody cancels or something gets moved like that, I know the universe is providing me an opportunity to rest. So that's just the way I look at it. Yeah, there was just something else that was more important that you need to be doing or not doing, really. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're seeing that so much right now because everybody is gearing up for the holidays, and they have 1,000 parties to go to and 1,000 presents. And what would it just right now? It's like the universe is really asking people to step into their authentic self. And I think people are feeling this, like they are being dragged by a Mac bus if they are still living this societal expectation version of them, right? And so what a great time to practice not disappointing people, but really being true to you. And what is it that you need? Because I promise you, it's going to be this domino effect. Like if you give yourself permission to not go to the bachelorette party because you just don't want to and you're tired and it was your only Saturday night free in like a week, 2 weeks or whatever, right? To give yourself permission, you are then going to give other people permission. And I understand a bachelorette party is a big deal, but you also don't want, if they don't want to be there, their influence, their energy is going to influence that entire event. And you don't like send them off with love, but you're not going to want them there if they're just there because they're afraid to disappoint
Like they feel like they have to be.
That's not going to be super fun for the whole group either.
It's true. It's like any relationship, sticking around when you know that the other person either doesn't want to be in that moment. It's like, why put yourself through that?
It's a lot,
You're not going to change their mind. It's just moving on. You mentioned something too about things like piling up on people this time of year. I feel this more this year than ever before. I mean, like right now, I do not feel like it's the week of Thanksgiving.
No, I don't even feel like it's December.
It's November.
Well,
that's okay.
It's getting there.
It's really
tomorrow.
close.
You feel
Tomorrow
like
is
it's
December.
October or
Yeah,
something.
but it doesn't feel like it's this time of year.
This whole holiday season, the weather isn't acting like it.
Thank God.
And I'm not feeling it. Right, that's true. And I'm not feeling it just in the day-to-day stuff that you have to get done, and then you look up and all of a sudden you're seeing, Christmas lights turned on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
What? There's something I saw yesterday, and I'm sure you guys have seen this by now, but that out of COVID and everybody, all these stores being closed and stuff last year and adjusted hours, that Target made an announcement company-wide that they're not opening on Thanksgiving anymore. It's going to remain closed.
That's not, not just this year. That's going to be every
and I
year.
think that's good. And I've looked even just like 2 weeks ago, just out of curiosity, looked to see how many of these stores that were open 24/7 are back to that now. And none of them. Hy-Vee used to be.
Do you remember?
Walmart used to be. Neither of those are. It's 7 a.m. when they're open or 6 a.m. or whatever, and they close at 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do with the employees. So COVID taught people that they don't want to work these menial jobs and they don't want to work for $7 an hour or whatever. And so they are, I think, because I was part of the movement 4 or 5 years ago, why are we making these people work on Thanksgiving?
Terrible.
I mean, give them 2 days, right? When I worked at a certain store, I was a retail manager and we were only closed on Christmas Day. And I thought that was total garbage. So I love the movement towards closing on Thanksgiving. And I think it really is the employees really standing up and saying, listen, our lives matter too. And our being at home on Thanksgiving is important. And I just love that that's the way. And that for me is an example of how, I talk about the new earth and the new energies coming in. That's a perfect example. We're leaving the top down, what's best for the corporate, to the community, what's best for the individual community. And I love that we're seeing
Well,
that.
I saw, you look back just a few years though, and it's almost like things came to a head, COVID aside. It was getting to the point where it was frenzied, as far as the shopping, and they were trying to come up with bigger and better promotions and
days earlier,
right? It was getting ridiculous that we were looking at Christmas decorations before Halloween decorations came out because they just kept having to amp it up. The Christmas music would start a month earlier, and it's just like everything had gotten so frenzied, and then you had so many instances. If you remember too, of people, the stampeding at stores that would try to amp it up before they'd open up the doors and ratchet things up a little bit. And then you'd have people getting hurt. Yeah. And I think, and another thing too right now is maybe the stores also are starting to realize people can go online.
Yeah. Oh,
you don't have to be at Target to shop at Target. So we can back that up a little bit.
Well, I probably think a lot of that has to do with staffing right now, though. So because
I think
staffing is such an issue for a lot of places, but I think they want you in store because you're going to buy
impulse
more.
Buys.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty impulsive on Amazon.
Yeah. Thanks, Kirkland's vodka.
Yes, indeed. They should get a kickback,
right?
But seriously, I think you're right about that. It's like a culmination of several different things that maybe helping people to slow down just a little bit. And I think you're right. It feels like things aren't lined up. Things aren't in sync yet. It just feels like this is moving so fast this year. And we're already at the end of 2021.
Yeah.
Well, and that, as we talked about in the break room, that is a perfect example of how, as the consciousness raises, as people wake up, we vibrate faster. And so things really are actually physically speeding up. And so I think it's exciting, but it's trippy because I'm just like, how is it already November?
Yes.
I'm still in like August.
Yes.
You know?
I know.
When you say that, vibrating faster, when you grew up, all the old people would say, "Oh, just wait till you get older. Time's going to fly by." You know, because you complain, "Oh, summer's so long," and or school lasts forever. And you're even in high school, even in college, it was just seemed like forever before you're going to get a break. They'd say, "Oh, just wait till you get older." Is part of that honestly, as you have the experience, that things do move quicker because number one, you know what to expect, and you know what's coming a little better, so you are vibrating higher. And that just wasn't in the conversation, though, those words.
No, I never thought about it like that.
That they actually were, but they didn't know. That was the best way they could put it, was, well, once you get older, it flies by. And that's because you know what's coming. You know, you are aware of what is around you, and you are aware of how it's going to go down.
Well, and you might be more comfortable living in the moment rather than always worrying about the future, right? So that probably has a lot to do with it too, even though we all really could be much better about just living in the moment.
That's been a change for me the last couple of years. You know, it's just like you kind of take stock, I guess, better. Weird, like my house. I've been in my house. I'm going to my 13th year.
Nice.
And was talking to somebody about that and just thinking about the other day. I'm like, my God, I've been in this house for 13 years, or I'm working on my 13th year, and realized this is my 13th Christmas. Only
a lot of Christmases,
but that's
though.
a lot. But it's also not.
I know
it's only 13 times. You know, it's like
when you think about
when you think about it as a number, it's like if you only did something 13 times. That's all you get to do it.
Right. No, that's true.
Not
if you look at it that way, but then if you look at it like in between those 13 times, there's 364 other days. It's
that
like
each only
then it
happens
seems like
13
a lot.
times. It's
right.
like, you know what I mean? I mean, that's where I'm just like, no wonder it feels like it's going so fast, because it's not that many times that you get to do everything in a lifetime.
But then if you think, okay,
Right?
we're going on vacation in 3 months, that means I have to go to sleep 90 times before I go on vacation. It seems like forever down the road, but it goes like that.
Yeah.
A whole childhood, maybe you go on 10 vacations. So you have 10 times you get to go on vacations with your kids where they're cognizant of what the hell's going on around them. Only 10.
Yeah.
That's all you get is 10 vacations.
Oh, I need to travel more. No, I'm really good about traveling.
You're doing really well this year.
Yeah, thank you. I've made it a goal that I'm going to travel more.
What did you call? What did she go to, Pat?
Her lady camps. Her lady
So funny.
desert lady camps. Isn't that what they're called? .com?
Oh my God.
Holy shit. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Somebody has a kid. I just said that. Oh gosh. I am working on a new website for a retreat company.
Need some new branding?
So
Okay.
Desert Lady Camps.
Desert Lady Camps.
might work. Sounds
like
Dana run the numbers
sounds like
on
a
that.
party.
It's my women's retreats, and we just
or
happen
that,
to go
whatever.
to Sedona every time.
Okay.
But I have been working on one to the beach, and I just got a hold on the universe is saying hold for the spring. So I don't know what's happening. Maybe we're just all supposed to be relaxing and being in the moment. I don't know, but I got a very strong do not plan a spring retreat. And I found that very interesting. But I am actually going to Mount Shasta, Northern California in June. I'm taking my kiddos.
Yeah.
Because I am under the impression that, like, I don't care if I die with $1 million in the bank. I want to have all the experiences.
Experiences, right?
So I might only have $1,000, but you better believe if I can go somewhere for $700, I'm going. Right?
You're gonna squeeze all you can out of that.
Totally. So I'm taking my kids to Mount Shasta this summer. One, because I really want to go. It's supposed to be very magical. There's rumors that there's ET activity and there's portals and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to do a little scouting. So maybe my next lady camp will be in Mount Shasta. But I also want to do this whole like redwood forest. It's so funny because when I plan this trip, I've got one kiddo who's super type A and one that's type B and wants to save all the animals. And so I was like, we're going to go sit by the redwoods and we're just going to meditate. My one daughter is like, excuse me? We're going to just sit by a tree. And I was like, oh yes. And it's going to be amazing. And she's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So My sister kind of volunteered she might come with. And so she's got one kid that's like me that will want to sit with the redwoods and another kid that doesn't. So they're going to go do their own thing. We'll sit with the trees.
They'll go to the mall and then while you guys are sitting there by the
Yeah.
trees.
Where's Mount Shasta at? Is it like?
It is Northern California.
Okay.
So it's like north of Sacramento,
There
about
it
3
is.
hours. Yeah.
Nice.
So I just want to go because I'm like, beat me up. Like, take me away for a while.
100%. The redwoods have always fascinated me.
Yes.
And I've never seen them in
I
person.
just heard the coolest thing about the redwoods, and I thought this was such a great representation of how humanity needs to move. So they were saying, how did the redwoods survive millions of years, right? And all the droughts in California. And somebody was saying, wow, their roots must be really deep. And they said, some tree expert said, no, actually they're very shallow. And they all spread way out. And then they work together as a community. So if one grove is experiencing a drought, the other grove sends water through the root system.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
And I thought, wow, isn't that the best representation of where we really need to move to and what would
I'd never
really
heard that
be-
before. That's
yeah,
cool.
I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
So-
It is. It's amazing when you see pictures of them and how amazingly you look at. Well, actually, you pull up redwood tree root systems. Crazy. I just have sitting here googling.
They just
these
have the
pictures
most-
are amazing because
they're-
they look like they're all holding hands.
Yeah. And they're
That's cool.
They're
Crazy.
ancient. Trees have their own wisdom. So just being there is going to be very healing.
You've watched Avatar,
So-
right?
Yes,
asking,
yes.
just saying.
So
You're going to go
I-
plug into a tree?
Right?
I put my hands on trees and I'm
Yes.
like, power me up, please. Or just,
I always feel bad when I see a tree that has something nailed to it.
oh, yeah.
Right, because they say if you nail something to a
So
tree,
random.
because it injures the tree. Like if you like, I'll tell you, I have some neighbors that actually have created almost a fort in their backyard, and it's nailed to the trees. And so I've just noticed this. Of like that's why it's top of mind. I'm like, it's not good for the trees. That's just me though. But don't take it out. But then I built a fort when I was a kid. I did do that, and it was like, okay, well, don't pull the nails out because it's like. That's not a good thing.
I've never
It'll injure
heard
the
that
tree. It'll
before.
injure the
I
trees.
wonder if they do like feel that and like how it injures them. I mean,
It's
I would
gotta injure
assume
'em.
so because they're alive
They're
and they
alive.
have consciousness. So
What? They do?
yes,
Trees have
Trees
consciousness?
have their own consciousness. They have their own language. They are alive and very conscious.
That's like they take.
That's why I want
That's
to
why
go
you talk
sit
to
with the
plants.
redwoods. Yes.
Who
People who
talks to
talk-
plants?
Oh my
Oh my
gosh!
God, have you never heard that before?
there's
Oh, I've
the-
heard that before, but like, who? I don't know anybody that actually talks to
Oh,
plants.
I do.
Other than, I'm so
No.
sorry. Why are you dying?
That's too late.
Well, I'm
too
looking
late.
at it. What do you mean?
Right.
So there's a study where they took two plants and they spoke "I love you" and "thank
Good
you"
things?
and good things, and it thrived. And the other one was like "I hate you, you're stupid," and it died. And that's because it has consciousness and it is listening and paying attention. So
Okay.
Just saying.
I kill my plants and I tell them, listen, I'm doing the best I can. You're gonna have
yeah.
to tell my angels what you need because I can't hear you.
Right.
Like
We bought a plant, not a fig leaf, something like that. A big, like, it was big at Costco. And we named it Lammy because we knew going in it was a sacrificial lamb. And so we got
You already
online. We
set
found
it up for just.
But
Oh my God.
But then we got online and we looked up the vitamins and we watered it on schedule and everything. And there's like 4 leaves left. Like, I don't know what the deal is. Lammy's
don't-
hanging on though.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sometimes the Wi-Fi and stuff like that is if it's real close to like a smart meter or the Wi-Fi, that will kill it too. Just another example of like why I unplug my Wi-Fi at night. So, but I don't know. I mean, I can hear my cat sometimes talking to me, but I have no idea when it comes to plants. But I do know they have consciousness and they're alive. And so for me, just going to the redwoods and just sitting there is literally healing.
Right.
And you know what ancient knowledge can I absorb just by being there? You
Right.
know, it
Well,
sounds weird, but it's
No, it doesn't
so
sound. That
magical.
doesn't sound weird. Like being in a tree, or like especially like the redwoods,
Yeah.
like that. That sounds like it's pretty awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to have a man camp in the redwoods. I don't know
Are
about
you?
No, I don't know.
Oh,
I have had lots of men asking me though to do a retreat for them.
Yeah.
And I had 3 in like 2 weeks ask me. They wanted to come with the women's retreat, and I was like, that's not
no,
the
that's
thing.
not gonna happen.
I
But I
think
thi-
it's so
I get
great
it.
that more of them are asking for the healing, more are coming in. I just don't know that I'm the right host for it. I think
Right.
a male host would be better, right?
Should talk to Andy.
What if they're
Andy, yeah, it's a
Andy
good
and his
idea.
paranormal dads.
yeah,
They're all real
so
in tune with
maybe
that stuff,
He
you
needs
know?
to do a
And-
men's healing retreat. So,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to
idea.
provide. It's actually something I'm working on. Is I'm happy to provide the content material. I just don't know that I'm the one to execute it.
Let's talk about content for a second. Let's talk about your book, which is now available in stores in Sedona. By the way,
so
Is it?
exciting!
It
Oh my
is.
gosh, yes. Okay, so
That's awesome.
it's like the So Sedona, in case you don't know, is like the pinnacle of what I do in the U.S. Right? And so I walked into my favorite crystal store the last time I was there. It's called Crystal Magic, and I just had this inspired ping. I talk about that, right? Don't do anything from elbow grease or force. Do it when all the stars
Everything
have
falls
aligned
into
and
place.
you
You're
feel
like,
this ping. And I should do this. And that's a great idea. So I walked in and I was just like, hey, is the buyer here? And she walked out of the back room and I just said, I wrote a manifesting journal and I think it'd be great here. She's like, well, let me see it. And she flipped through it for a couple minutes and she's like, this is amazing. I'll take 12. We'll start slow, but I'll take 12 right now. And I was like, what just happened? And so now my book is in a crystal store,
That's
crystal
awesome.
and bookstore
and like
in
one of the
Sedona.
best places it can be. I would imagine that, and Taos, New Mexico is another one that, to me, they seem like they're on the same wavelength.
You know, it's so crazy. That town keeps coming up for me.
Really?
And I'm like, okay, I hear you.
I've seen it.
I
I've
think
seen
I
it,
have
like,
to do a ladies camp
Lady
there.
camp.
That might be, and it's so funny because I've seen it. Like, that's why it's top of mind. Again, one of those things. It's like something that I've seen recently, like 2 or 3 times, and I have memories of Taos driving home because we went to Taos when I would drive back from Phoenix, and we'd make a trip to go up there. And it is fascinating. I've never spent a lot of time there, but it's just a fascinating, like a lot of creatives, free spirits. It's like Santa Fe 10 times over.
Nice.
And Santa Fe is fantastic as well. Very creative people live there. And it's some really neat,
It's beautiful, just beautiful.
beautiful country.
Just unbelievably beautiful.
But also, you've got a lot of people that are like-minded that have collected in the
Nice.
same way that in Taos. And I love both of those areas. They're really
I've never been to
interesting.
either, but if it's anything like Sedona, I did just apply to reinstate my passport. It expired. And so because that Taos, Mexico kept coming up, and so I was like, okay, I better get on my passport. So
Just make
but
sure.
I'm just kind of waiting out the whole, do you have to have the vaccine thing to travel? So
Exactly.
We'll see, but
See what happens.
When the
Yeah.
timing is right, it'll happen. But
Exactly.
so my book is in Sedona, and I just dropped it off. There is a shop here in town called Next Millennium, and I just dropped it off with Charlie, the owner, to see if it's something that he would be interested in carrying too.
Very
so
nice.
yeah, we'll
Can
see.
people buy it not there and not at the place with Charlie?
Yeah, they
online?
can buy it on Amazon. Yep. So
She's on
it's-
Amazon.
That's
She's
pretty
everywhere.
legit, man.
The universe will figure out the how is the title. But did you bring that up because of the giveaway?
No,
No?
I
What
did not.
Giveaway? What are you talking about?
Ooh, so I just want to say a huge thank you to your listeners because
They're the best.
they have been so supportive of me, and I still am getting people, even though I haven't been in September. If I can talk.
Which feels like yesterday.
Crazy. I know, right? I know. I think I was just getting back from my first Sedona trip this year, or going, but I did 2 in September and October.
Yeah.
And they were absolutely magical. But your listeners still are booking with me, and I am booked through the end of the year. Like I'm sold out for the entire year, which is a great problem. I'm full and it's awesome, but like if people still need me, they're going to have to wait until January now. But I created this gift package, and I just wanted to offer it to your listeners only. This isn't something I'm going to post publicly, but I have my manifesting journal. The universe will figure out the how, and there's activities in there to help you really get clear about what you want and then how it's going to make you feel, and there's activities to overcome blocks and really to support your journey. But I've created this package where I'm going to intuitively pick a crystal pen. So it's a pen that you write with, and there's crystals in it. And this is going to be intuitively picked for you. And then another crystal that you can hold or put in your lap while you're journaling. And all of this combined will just help you on your journey and really create a next level for you. And so I think I'm going to post something on Facebook probably tomorrow.
Okay, let's, as we speak, I want to make sure we have dates right. So if you're catching this a few days later, just so you know when this is going to be up there.
Oh yeah, good.
So
that's a good point. So
the date as we speak being Tuesday.
Yes, the 30th.
The 30th.
So I will probably draw, I'll give them 48 hours. So I'll draw like the morning of December 3rd. But if you listen to this podcast, go to my business page, Rhianna Mays, Energy Transformer and Intuitive. Follow or like, and just, I'm going to ask a question. And the question is, what is your favorite type of self-care? What do you do for self-care that's your absolute favorite? And I'm not going to relist the question, but you're just going to answer under the post. And then I will put everybody's name into a hat and draw a winner, and I will contact you, and
That's
you'll get
awesome.
this little
That's a great
gift
idea.
package. But it's my thank you, because I really appreciate you guys, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do what I do. And this has been a really great year. And
we appreciate you coming in
grateful.
and being on our show and bringing so much content to us.
So real quick, just to answer your own question. And again, she's not going to post the question again. So you just have to post your answer when she says, okay, answer the question. What is yours?
Ooh, that's a great one. I was thinking about that. So 2 things. I think 1, saying no when I really want to say no.
What was the question again? Sorry.
What's your, oh God.
I mean,
What is your favorite?
Saying no is the answer,
way?
Pat. So you guess. Where do you hear that the most?
What is your favorite self-care?
okay.
How do you take care of yourself?
Kind of tie.
So besides raking myself, because that's a given, saying no when I really want to say no, because I kind of try to live by, if it's not a hell yes, it is a hard no. And I think I've said that, but I try to live by that.
Yeah.
And then
More people need to, and it's okay. And it's okay. And you got, and we, you know, what's so funny is just recently we talked about, just to pause you for a second, about when you're during the holidays and you're with family and you're feeling obligated to eat grandma's pie. You're feeling obligated to have one more dish of this. Or you're feeling obligated to go to something. You've got to mentally prepare. How am I going to handle this before I go in? Because you don't want it to cause problems. Nobody does. But, like to me, it's just like, I just acquiesce and I hate to do it, but I don't want to fight at that point. That's not the place to have the fight. It's like, that should have been taken care of before we got in this situation. That they don't put you. But if you get put in this situation, just to kind of think about it, because if Aunt so-and-so comes up and says, don't you want another one? I made those just for you. Kind of thing.
I don't get any of that. I really don't. And I think that's because I've not been a people pleaser. I think I have pretty good boundaries. And so that's something people need to work on.
A lot of people, they take very personal offense to if you don't. Yeah, it's real.
I think it's a very small town thingy too.
It is too. And so
growing up with older aunts and whatever.
My answer now is, I'll take some home with me.
And then
that's a great idea.
It's like, can I take some home with me? That's been my best go-to, because it's like, I don't want to have a fight and I don't want to tell them no, because they're doing it out of the goodness.
Well, yeah.
They're not trying to hurt me.
And I guess if they're old school and really stuck in their ways,
right.
they're
yeah. So it is one of those things, just to kind of prepare, because the holiday season. Here we go. One more thing. But anyway, so
I'll take some to go.
Take some to go.
That's a very good
answer.
one.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then I think my other one besides getting outside is sea salt baths. I love a good sea salt bath, and it doesn't have to be fancy sea salt. I buy mine from Hy-Vee. It's a yellow box for $3.
Right.
And I do a cup of sea salt or even some magnesium, but it helps just pull that junk out of you, especially if you're an empath and absorbing energy. It's really good. Water is very healing. So,
That's a great idea.
The last thing, can I share my animal card that I chose?
Okay, explain your cards.
Yes. Okay. So I have a deck of animal oracle cards for you. For people that aren't familiar, there is tarot, which is a very specific card and meaning.
Thank you.
And
I was
then
wondering
there
about
is
that.
Oracle cards, which is just the illustrator and the creator. They get to put in whatever message they want on this card. You don't have to have a special skill set. To read tarot is a special skill set. Oracle cards, anybody can mix it and draw a card. But I just thought, for a message going into the holiday season, what would your listeners need? And you saw me, I was shuffling with the intention of what do they need? And
We were in the break room. Literally,
Yeah.
we were standing there. She
Really?
just got here
And-
and she was shuffling.
Yep, and 3 cards popped out. So this is for all of your listeners. So the first one I thought was really important. It's the snake spirit. And if you don't know, animals have a message. They have their own energy, and they bring forth a message. So if you see the same repeating animal or something stops and looks at you, that is a message, and you can look that up. So the first one was snake spirit, and it said time to heal. And isn't that really the message of going internal and creating boundaries and healing those expectations and saying no when you want to say no?
Right back to the top of the
Yes,
podcast.
it's totally
as you were
time
talking
to
about
heal.
hibernating.
And yes, and then the other one was, so that was snake spirit. The other one was nightingale spirit. So love is all around. And I think that's a great message, especially for the holidays. Sometimes it gets really lonely and sad. Like I know for me, I'm by myself on Christmas Day, and I'll figure it out. But love is all around, and to emanate love from you, kind of like a Care Bear stare, like just send love and light. It literally changes the electromagnetic field of your heart, and people can feel that within 6-7 feet away from you. But also to remember that you are surrounded by love, angels, spirit guides, the universe, creator, and all you have to do is lean into that and then just allow it, right? Sometimes we forget that we don't have to do everything alone, right? Because we're so much in our masculine energy and we've been doing it by ourselves for so long. Remember to lean into that. Love is all around. And then finally, koi fish, and this goes right in with the manifesting journal, is there is always enough. You just have to allow it and believe it. And I just thought those were beautiful
There's
messages.
room for everybody. There's always enough.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
Yeah, and they all
that's
kind of
great.
feed into each other.
Yes.
Yes.
And they all feed into the question, which is,
What is your favorite form of self-care? And that's what I'm going to post on the Facebook. And
There you
you
go.
answer that, you'll go into the drawing for the gift package of my manifesting journal, a crystal pen that I've hand selected just for you, and a crystal to go with it.
That's
So,
super amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great idea. Best giveaway we've ever had.
Let's not,
It really is. It's really creative and cool.
seriously,
Thank
it
you.
is. And let's not wait so long till next time.
I know. It's just, I got, my lady camps were so, I'm never going to not think of that now. I
can see the artwork and the logo
right
right
now. Right? Lady camps. I love it. But I know I will not go as long. I
That's
love
all
you
right.
guys. So.
No, you look wonderful. I think that they've done you a world of good too.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
You're awesome.
Thank you. You guys
Hey.
are awesome too.
You can text us at 402-403-9478 and just subscribe and share our podcast with your friends.
Right here.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.